Hello, everyone. My name is Seb Valentin, and I'm so happy to have you guys back here for yet another story episode. Today is going to be a big one, I feel like. I wasn't sure about the idea at first, and I was kind of debating if I should even do it so early into the channel, but no, I think it's the great and perfect time to do it. Today, we're going to be talking about faith and how we can connect with God. That's often a question a lot of people ask themselves. Is they get to this point in their prayer life and their spiritual journey where they start asking and questioning, what can I do as a Christian to get closer to God? How can I connect more with him? I feel like my prayers aren't really hitting anymore. They're not doing it for me. I'm not feeling a connection. And maybe I was in the beginning, but I don't know, lost it along the way. There's a lot of different things that could happen when we get this feeling, And the solution to this is, honestly, it's beautiful and it's very simple. It's not as complicated as you would think. It's described perfectly in the Bible verse we're going to talk about today, and that's Psalm chapter 119, verse 105. It says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." This Bible verse, I hear it a lot. A lot of people use it, and I think it's great that people use it. I just think that sometimes we'll use a Bible verse or saying a quote of some sort, and we'll look at the sort of exterior meaning of it, but we won't go and look at the interior meaning of it and what it really means, what it's trying to tell us. So the simple answer to this question, how can I connect with God? How can I get closer to God? Starts with prayer. It starts with prayer and action. Those are the two things that we must combine in order to reignite that flame, to start feeling that connection again, and to get closer with God. It really is a matter of how we pray. And it's funny, I just finished the theology book that I was reading. It's Dangerous Prayers by Craig Rochelle. Honestly, an amazing book. I recommend it for everyone. And he highlights 3 types of prayers that we should all pray. And obviously, going along with the title of the book, Dangerous Prayers, these are prayers that are not very easy to pray. And, it can be very hard to sit down with yourself and to sit down with God and talk about these things. And the 3 prayers that Rochelle mentions, the first one is, Lord, search me. You're asking God to basically look within you and find those iniquities, find those anxieties that, that turn you away from him and turn you away from doing good. The next one is, Lord, break me. So send something hard down my path. Give me a very, very hard challenge, a challenge full of suffering and pain. And while this seems counterintuitive, it's in suffering and pain, as I've described in other videos, and as we see often in life, where we find God the most. And the last one is, send me. Lord. Yeah, Lord, send me. Little brain fart right there, but that's what he tells us. He says, Lord, send me. And that one comes from Isaiah, and that one really touched me because right now, in my spiritual journey, through my Bible study that I'm doing independently, I'm going through the book of Isaiah, and it's such a beautiful thing. I remember reading that, and when I connected it to the book, I was like, wow, that's amazing. We should ask God every single day, Lord, send me to do your will. It's just like every day we often ask God, please do this for me, or make my life easy, or that kind of stuff. But no, some days we have to be like, God, let me do your will today. How can I do your will? How can I carry out your work in this world, this broken world that we live in? And really, I just brought that up because I think that's a very good premise for today's episode. It's a very good segue into what we're going to talk about. We're talking about prayer and action. And so I think it's really important that when we look at prayer, we're not just doing it conditionally. And this is something that I used to struggle with a lot. It was like a certain situation would be happening, whether it was good or bad. I would pray conditionally, and I would look for Bible verses that were following that specific situation that was happening. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not bad. This is a good thing. If something happy or something sad, maybe you're feeling, upset about something, you can look up, Bible verses and things of that nature for what you're going through. But I think it extends more to this, right? We have to look for those Bible verses, but then apply what the Word is saying. We can't just look for the Bible verse and read it and just like, okay, yay, I feel better. This is great. Like, let's do something with the Word. Let's try to fully understand it, break it down, take it apart, and just understand what God is trying to tell us and how we can genuinely heal. Because when we're upset or even when we're happy, like those feelings and those emotions, they don't last forever. It's life is a lot of ups and downs, like waves. The way we feel true joy, true stability, true happiness in our lives is by breaking down the Word and applying what we find in this deeper search to our lives and living it every single day. That is how we reach that state of equilibrium where we're no longer like, obviously we're still going to get upset and feel emotions and things, but it's no longer just going to be this like, oh, I need to go look up a Bible verse right now to get me through this situation. And while that's, again, I'm not discouraging you doing that, there's more to it. We can't just be surface level about this. We have to be intentional. God wants us to be intentional with Him and with strengthening our relationship with Him. It goes more than what we just, what we see on the surface. And to share a personal story here at this point, I want to talk about my own prayer life and how it's developed over the years. Now, I just graduated recently in May, so I haven't been too long out of school. But while I was in school, I had a lot of up and down periods. I remember my freshman year, I would pray the rosary all the time. I would be praying almost every night my first semester. But then I guess I got so busy with a bunch of things like clubs, ROTC, school was getting harder. A lot of things started weighing down on me, and I was like, I just don't have time to do my Bible study or to pray, or like my mind would come up with these excuses, and I was no longer intentional about it. It was no longer a priority in my life. Like, I still went to church every Sunday, but it wasn't a priority to pray or to look at the Word every day. It was more of a, if I get to it at the end of the day where I'm free or whatever, then I'll get to it. And, as much as I wish I could say I wasn't like this back then, that's the truth of it. It wasn't until junior year of my college time that I started picking it back up again. And it was very inconsistent, to be honest with you guys. It wasn't anything that was amazing. Like, I didn't just pick up the Bible every single day and, read it all the time. It was more scattered, more spaced out. I would go on the YouVersion Bible app, and I'd start a plan and maybe get through it. It'd be like a 3-day plan or something like that. But then I would kind of forget again. And this on and off just really happened for about, say, a year and a half, almost 2 years. What really was stopping me was the lack of direction. I was inconsistently praying, and I really wasn't asking God to help me with my prayer life. And that should have been the first step I took, was to ask God, how can I improve my prayer life with you, Lord? That was the first step. And I think God works in mysterious ways. And I don't think I ever ended up asking God how I can work on my prayer life. And when we don't do this, like I said, He works in mysterious ways. So He sent someone on my path that kind of helped me pick it up again and be very, very serious about it. This past summer, I was working a job at Chick-fil-A, and I met this one coworker who was really, really into like reading the Bible and studying it, and like, all about faith, all about reading the Word and really getting immersed into it. And I had a lot of conversations with this person throughout the summer and my time working there, and it inspired me. The conversations I had with them, it inspired me to be like, okay, this sounds really good. This person's so animated. They're so passionate about it. They love what they're reading and how they're applying it to their lives and the lives that they're changing and how they're changing, and it just everything about it. And I was like, this sounds beautiful. And I was going through a hard period in that time, and I was like, maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is how God is talking to me. So I decided to buy my own study Bible, and again, at first, it was a little like, it was kind of inconsistent. It was like, I would go here and there. I wasn't sure where to start. Again, it was a lack of direction. And that, when I faced it the second time, where I just didn't know where to start, what to do, I gave up, and I asked God, where do I start? What do I do? Like, where does this journey for me start? Like, where does it begin? And again, like things work with God, it's not on our time, it's on His. I didn't get an answer immediately. I wasn't sure where to start, and I kind of left the Bible there for a few days, and then the days turned into a week or two. But then after a week or two, less than a month for sure, I just got this feeling that it was like, start with the wisdom books. And nothing really prompted it from the outside. There was no exterior. It was I remember sitting in my room where I used to live in college, and I just start with the wisdom books was all I remember. And I was like, okay. Like I took that very subtle moment, I took it, and I was like, this right here is 100% God speaking to me. I'm going to take it as that and move forward with it. And so that's exactly what I did. Is I started with the wisdom books, and I haven't turned back. I've been studying the Bible every single day now since then. And I mean, something that's important and something that's encouraging to hear is that you don't have to do it. Like, if you miss a day, it's not the end of the world, and it's not like you're done. The thing about habits, because this is essentially just building a habit with God, is you have to give yourself the grace. The way that God gives you grace, let God give you that grace to know that it's okay if you miss a day. Just make sure, I think it's important that if you're not doing a Bible study every single day, that you're at least praying, and you're at least intentional about wanting to continue and to grow your relationship with God. Because as Christians, that's the most important thing that we can do here on earth. Before I leave you guys today, I just want to give you this very actionable thing we can do to start praying more and to start studying the Bible more. And it's something called the WRAP prayer method, and that's WRAP. The W stands for write, the R stands for reflect, the A stands for apply, and the P stands for prayer. And so essentially what you do is you write down the Bible verse that you went through. So for example, I was in the book of Isaiah, and I picked out something that I really liked. I write it down. I reflect on it. How is God trying to speak to me right now in my life with this verse? I then write a way that I'm going to apply it. Either if I do my Bible study in the morning, how am I going to apply it today? Or how am I going to apply it tomorrow or for the rest of the week? And then I write a prayer about it. And this gives you the opportunity to be intentional about it and to really take in the Word, because you're taking the time to just study it and to understand it and to apply it to your life. And all this takes is 10-15 minutes a day. So I encourage you guys to do this starting forward. I would love to hear your progress with this journey, and I would love to be there for you guys. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you like this content, I ask you to subscribe and share with your friends. I'm praying for you, and I ask that you pray for me. Have a great day.